By most measures and timeline, that job should have been done in one day. Let me explain. That's our 98 Nissan Maxima 3.0 engine. I'm sure you're familiar with one. These engines were produced from 1994 to 2007. A fairly common automobile. Several platforms use the same engine and components. The alternator happened to go out on this particular one, ours, go figure, needed to be replaced under warranty from AutoZone. That's where everything kind of went backward, if you will. We have been conditioned to think that these parts are available on these cars fairly easily. It turns out that there's not a single AutoZone in Nashville, Tennessee, or even nearby for that matter, that had an alternator for this car. The only way they could get it was to VDP, or vendor direct, which meant that they would have to mail it. Now, in the past, now mind you, I got 6 years working behind the counter with that company. In the past, that could be done within a day or two. When I went to my local AutoZone to see about getting the alternator, it was not going to be available until a week from today, next Friday, the 21st. Well, like everyone else, I kind of needed my car now because next week I'm coming up on a procedure that has to be done, and I'm going to be down for a couple of weeks recovering. Basically, what I'm going to do is wait till my wife leaves. I hope she leaves. And then I'm going to come right back out here in the garage and do just a little something. But let's get back to the dilemma at hand. A very common automobile, at least in my estimation, at least by any stretch, if you look at the numbers of these cars and the 3.0 engines that they go in. 6 different platforms all around the world. You would think this is readily available. It is not. Even when it was initially ordered on Thursday, when I found out nobody had it, because I had it under warranty, the vendor did not ship it according to the date that they specified. Now, all the people that do this have been talking about parts availability, parts shipping, and everything else, pandemic issues that everyone is having getting them. And it's getting stranger and stranger. So, because we needed to have this vehicle running, this is our backup to a backup. No, this is actually one of our frontline vehicles that we use in rotation. And because I was going to be down for 2 weeks, we needed this one done and complete. So my dilemma was to attempt to find it at one of the other stores, calling around other stores in Nashville. Only O'Reilly had one, and literally had only one in stock. So I did what any person that was in dire straits or need would do. I ponied up and went out and spent my $250 and got another lifetime warranted alternator and used the original one from AutoZone as a core, which means, of course, now I do not have a warranty. What are you getting at, Willie? This is kind of where the big box stores have done their homework as it relates to consumerism. They offer warranties for a reason, to keep us coming back into the stores. And it works. It works until you get to this point that you see right here. Vehicles that are beyond a certain year, make, and model, in which they do not carry parts for. Now, the new systems that they have in place of parts availability have to do with the types of cars that parts are purchased for when customers come into the store. So you couple that with the issue that I just ran into a fairly common vehicle with a fairly common part, in this case the alternator, yet no availability out of one of the biggest auto parts distributors in the country, at least here in this city and the surrounding area. And you understand the problem when it comes to some DIYer like myself, like you, doing this work, needing to get it complete. Think about the person that has a shop that's run into the same issue, not just with a 1998 model, but a 2018 model too. Parts are getting kind of strange. The whole business is getting kind of strange, and maybe this is amplified even more when you are someone like myself, a DIYer with an adequate amount of tools and experience to do this myself. Now, in my stable, the newest vehicle I have is a 2005. Recently, I acquired another 1996 vehicle. I'll bring you more up on that one later. But what I'm discovering is, even though these are very common, things are getting kind of strained. So you're having to get resourceful. So one of the things that I'm going to fall back on, and I'm encouraging all of you out there that are kind of dealing with the old car hobby to do the same things. We have been conditioned to rely on AutoZone, Advance, O'Reilly, Napa as our parts source. Why? Because they have had parts generally in stock at fair prices. The internet has actually made it even more fair than ever before. And just the convenience of being able to go to the local place and exchange a part to get a part that you needed for your vehicle. Again, it seems that the older vehicles, this is becoming more and more prevalent. So one of the things that I'm doing is going back to something that I did years ago, back in the 80s when I worked at a local mechanic shop here over on McDaniel Street, North Nashville, Hobbs Transmission. We dealt with a lot of local people when it came to starters and alternators, clutches, clutch refacing, things of that nature. We did not go to the big box stores. There were actually businesses in town that performed this kind of work at an extremely reasonable price. Now, fast forward, yeah, I know this isn't the early 80s anymore. A lot of those businesses are gone. A lot of the people that used to run them got out of the business, and in my case in Nashville, they got gentrified out. It's difficult to pass up the money people were paying for your property. Plus, that was backbreaking work. And it was dangerous work too. Yeah, so, a lot of these guys had lung ailments and up. I digress. You get the picture. They are fewer and fewer people doing this type of work. Yet in my quest to get this alternator for this car, I did a search and actually found 3 or 4 places in town that still do this. They're going to become new sources for me, more than the big box stores have in the past, particularly when it comes to my older vehicles. Now, I know it's convenient. I know one of the things that had happened to me, and one of my strategies is I tend to buy my rotating assemblies from the big box stores because, again, generally thinking that if anything goes wrong if I'm out of town, I can find one of these stores, Advance, O'Reilly, AutoZone, or Napa, and do the exchange on the part and fix it up and keep rolling. This happened to me and my brother some years ago on the 2005 2500 on a trip that he and I took down to Atlanta. It was convenient. Now, with all of the changes that you see taking place, all of us are going to have to rethink our strategy, our part strategy, and everything else. This is why I know for me, my starters and alternators and stuff, looking at getting things a week or more out. Nope. I'm going to look at these folks and see about getting 1 day turnarounds just like I used to back in the 80s when I worked over at Hobbs Transmission at the old North National Radiator Shop with my good friend Tommy Rorick in those days. So think about it. Think about it. What's more important? Getting your project rolling or let it sit for what seems like an inordinate amount of time, especially if you need it. So, again, I had to pony up. Give you another for instance. The 302 build right there, right? This is the timing cover seal that came in the rebuild kit for that 302 engine. This is an original equipment timing cover. Now, if you notice, this one, I'll turn it upside down here, takes a particular seal that goes in from the back side before you put this cover in place. It was literally cheaper for me to order a new timing cover with the seal that could be installed externally than it was to order the proper seal for the original style cover. That big of a difference. And of course, as you can probably guess, none of the parts people at any of the parts stores that I talked to had any clue about the seal on a small block 4 302 351 289 front cover. They didn't know. You can't fault them. They don't know what they don't know. So those of us who are doing this have to become creative in order to get our projects moving and to keep things going the way that we are looking to do and desire to do. You got to be crafty, folks. You got to be crafty. So that's the rant, I guess. The rant, the rage. Nah, no rage involved. Outside of being $250 lighter today. Well, stuff happens. What are you going to do? You got to keep it rolling, right? So, I'm going to get off of here. Get up under there. Oh, and if you've done the job, you can understand. It's one of those things where you gotta kind of have to take everything out, at least in front of the engine, in order to get the alternator out of the car. So, half a day turns into a 3-day ordeal, but thank goodness somebody had the part. I'm getting ready to get under here, get dirty, get this car rolling again. Just a little cautionary tale for you and your projects. All of you that are dealing with the old car hobby, from Willie at the No Bucks Garage. I'll see you soon.